Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stock Talk Thursday. It is the first Stock Talk Thursday of the year. Well, it's the first Thursday of the year. But, the last 2 weeks, we did not have a Stock Talk Thursday. And so I'm glad to be back with you guys. I remember doing it on the 16th of December, and that seems like so long ago. So much has happened since then. So I'm glad to be back here with you. As usual, feel free to throw your comments and questions in the comment section below. If you ask a question, I promise I'll get to it. Love to hear from you guys, see what's going on. So as we dive in here, let's just take a recap on what happened in the market because we've got some catching up to do. Last time we looked at this was December 16th, so that was 3 weeks ago. So I want to get you guys caught up on what's been going on so that we know where we are now and we can look at what was hot and what wasn't back then, and or on the last one that we did on the 16th, and then we can look at what's hot and what's not now. And I've got a new exciting way that we're going to be looking for that together. So let me go ahead and share the chart here for us all to see. All right, there you go. You guys should be seeing the chart that I have up right now. We're looking at the overall market. I just like to start with the overall market, and let's zoom in a little bit here so we can see where we are. So the last time that we met was December 16th, and this candlestick right here, we were up at resistance, had a bit of a down day, and pushed down off of resistance. What we didn't know what was going to happen after that. Were we going to come right back up and push up against resistance again? Or what actually happened is we went down the next day and the next day, and we produced another bounce off the 100-day simple. So that's this red like dash dot dot dash line right there. That's the 100-day simple. And so we showed that to be support back here, and we did it again as we then pushed up from there. And this time when we pushed up, we broke this resistance line, and we cleared it. We just went above it pretty strongly right here, and we found some more resistance at the 4,800 level. So we can drop a little line in there. That line right about there makes sense. So we had, 1, 2, 3, really 4 touches on that resistance level, almost perfectly at the 4,800 level. That was kind of fun to see there. And then, of course, you can see what happened yesterday. Big drop off, a big solid red candlestick, similar to what we had here, and here. So not really what we wanted to see. I would be okay with a pullback down to previous resistance, turn it into support and bounce. As a trader, that's what I'm looking for. But yesterday was a little bit more than that. And then today, not really being very promising or showing us that it wants to move up again. So we're back below that old resistance level. Kind of have to see what happens next. But let's take a look and see what happened to our stocks that we looked at last time on the 16th. So we're going to look at LLY. That was our hot stock. So let's see how this thing's been holding up. So you remember it was in a really, actually, let me zoom out more. It was in a really nice uptrend here and made higher highs there. And so we look at the 16th, and that was this day right here after this really big push up. And what did it do? It came back down, which we kind of expected, right? I mean, like how often can you just keep going up and up and up and up and up? It's like climbing a mountain. At some point, you got to take a rest, right? Or you're looking forward to going downhill a little bit. And it did. It pulled back a little bit, found some support at the 10-day exponential moving average, and then pushed up again. And it's been pulling back a little bit the last few days. But again, if we take a look at the bigger picture, look at our support line right here. Our uptrending support line. We've got 1, 2, 3 touches there, and it's pulling back to that line. So even though it's been pulling back over the last week or two, as a trader, I'm like, oh, I might want to watch this one, because if this hits our uptrend support line and bounces again, there could be some opportunities, and it could be hot again. So that was LLY. Let's take a look at Roku. Roku was our not hot stock. Let's see what we got here. Roku. That was not the right one. That's Roku. Okay, check this out. So we had this big downtrend, right? It was up way up at like 480 something. And then on the 16th, I believe that was this candlestick. Oh, it was right after the day after that. It was right there. So we had made its way down below 200. Pretty crazy. Now, what's even cooler, in my opinion, check this out. I have not moved this line since we met last on the 16th, right? I drew this line and I pulled it out a little bit to the future, and look what it did. Let's zoom in here. Oop, that zoom didn't work out too well. Let's reset the zoom. It got right up to that line, went up just barely above it, and then fell down off of that. How cool is that? The line that we drew 3 weeks ago, it was touching that line for a couple days. Just on, was it Tuesday and Monday and the previous Friday. So it's almost like it saw our line and then it bounced down off of that. That's why I think technical analysis is so cool. We get to do so much cool stuff with it, and like you see it in action, and you know that's, you know, you drew a good line when you put this in here and it followed through on that. And now we can go ahead and grab that and tweak it just a little bit more, you know, just pull out just a little bit more to make it even a little bit more accurate. But until I did that just a second ago, I had not touched that line. So I always think that's pretty cool when you drop a line there, and you know, days later, weeks later, even months later, sometimes you come back to that chart and you're like, it's been following my lines this whole time. I mean, if things are that repeatable and reliable and maybe predictable, you know, if you think you could trade off that. So interesting things. All right. Well, we're going to look now at what is hot now. And let me tell you, I've only been doing this for a few weeks, but the last few weeks that I've been finding are what's hot and what's not stock. I had been using a different system. Hadn't been using the charts by Tradeaway yet. I've been presenting on here, but hadn't been using this tool to find the stocks yet. And I was just looking at what has been making a really big percentage move up or down, and then see if one of those has been moving in that same direction for a while. So it was okay. It kind of worked out. But then last week we looked at, I don't remember what we looked at, but we I don't remember which chart it was, but we looked at the sector chart as well to see, well, which sectors are hot and which aren't. And I thought, you know, what if we just start there today? What if we look at this together through the sector chart and the heat map that I'm going to show you in just a second, and find our what's hot and what's not. So instead of me just giving it to you, like, here's what's hot, here's what's not, we're going to walk through this together to see how we find this. So this is going to be pretty fun. So we're going to come up here to home, and you're going to click on market if you've got access to the Tradeway by charts by Tradeway. And we've got our sector chart on the top right here and our heat map on the bottom right. And usually this is kind of set to day. So that means like today, what was hot and what wasn't. Remember, the today's candle was kind of like a doji-like candle at the bottom, with yesterday being a big down day. So today, energy was up quite a bit, and then basic materials was down quite a bit. Healthcare was down quite a bit. Financial services were up quite a bit. Everything else counted as in the middle there. So that was in the last day, and we can look at, well, what's been going on last week. And here you go. You can see tech was down. Energy was up huge. Financial services up quite a bit as well. And then we can look at the last month. And I thought, well, you know, since it's been not quite a month, but, you know, the better part of a month, 3 weeks since we met last, let's take a look at just the monthly chart and just go from there. Okay. So we are looking at the sector chart over the last month, what has been hot and what has been not. Well, overall in the last month, most everything has been up, of course. You can see tech is the only sector that is actually down a little bit. But what has been up the most? And we've got kind of almost a dead tie here between consumer, defensive, and energy. And I had picked something in consumer defensive. So let's take a look at that. But with that, I can't really click on these guys. But now we're going to drop down to our heat map right in here. I'm going to explain that. Now, this is going to be a little bit small, so we have a button for that. This is called the Go Big button because I want it to go big. So here we go. Go Big button. And now it shows all these different sectors. Again, we got technology, financial services, industrials, and we're looking at consumer defensive. So I'm going to actually click on consumer defensive, and that's going to make just that industry go big. So now we can take a look at this and look at all the green on the chart. Okay, let me draw your eyes to the top right here. Here we've got this percentage change, and the greener it gets, you know, the hotter that stock has been, and the more brownish, orangish, reddish, whatever that color is, that it gets is kind of, that's less hot. You know, it's, you know, red for bad. You know, kind of like how I have my candlesticks set up. You know, the red ones are going down and the clear green ones are going up. So we got a lot of, you know, green boxes here. You might be asking, what are the black ones here? Well, these black ones, they're just kind of neutral, right? They're not, haven't really gone up or down in the last month overall. So then the one that I picked out was Coca-Cola. Let's take a look at Coca-Cola. We can click on that. We can click on this button right here. That brings us to our technicals or our chart. And here we go. Here is what was hot. Because you look at the last couple weeks, let's see, when did we leave off? It was the 16th. So that was right in here. And it's just been going up. And actually, since the 16th, it had been going up for a couple weeks since then. So for the whole last month, this thing's just been shooting up. So that's been really cool. Let's drop some lines in here. Let's take a look at this in a little better way. We got some support right in here. And that happens to coincide with, so you got it 1 touch, 2 touches. It was some support there. It was resistance back in here. Let's drag this over farther. Ooh, look at this. See all this action going on in here? We can zoom in on this just by doing that right there. That was support. Look how perfectly that just gapped right up there. I didn't even, when I dropped this line, I didn't even see this part of the chart right here, right? So again, this is where technical analysis is being super cool, and it just jumped right up to my line, and that was support. And then it showed to be some resistance. And then it showed to be, oops, I pulled too much. It showed to be support again. And again and again. But anyway, that's just me nerding out a little bit. Let's drop one more line here for resistance. So you kind of have an area of resistance right in here, you know, a few touches and then there again, and then gaps up above and turns that into support. And after that gap up, it pulled back down, showed that it was support again, and then just raced up. And so now here we are, and we're looking at, you know, Coca-Cola looking really, really hot. And here's another big thing to keep in mind. What did the S&P do yesterday? What did the market do yesterday? Market yesterday slammed down. It was a slam dunk, right? Like not in a good way. And at least not if you're bullish. So that was the S&P yesterday. What did Coca-Cola do yesterday? No one told Coca-Cola was a down day because look at what it did. It was racing up. All of it was above the 5-day EMA. That's super hot. And today, you know, it had some pullback from its highs, but overall, like it's above the 5-day. It's not really showing. This would be hard to trade, honestly. Like I would want to see it pull back some more. Like goodness gracious, take a break so that I can get in on a trade on this. It's almost too hot to trade right now. So that's Coca-Cola, and that was kind of a really fun way of finding it. And so now what we want to do, let's take a look and see what is our not hot stock, and let's do it in the exact same way. So we're going to come up to home, I'm going to go to market, going to use the sector chart once again, And well, what is the only sector in the last month that hasn't been going up? And that would be tech. Now, it's not really getting crushed. The whole sector isn't, but we're going to find a stock within that sector that is getting crushed. So remember, this is what we're using right now to find the sector, and then we're going to come look at this whole heat map right here. And because I don't want to just deal with 1/4 of my screen, I want the whole screen. I'm going to hit my go big button. Boom, here we go. And now we're looking at, again, this is over the last month, and technology was what we were looking at. So let's click on the technology button so we can just look at technology. And again, green means that it's been hotter, and then kind of the redder it looks, that is not hot. And our choice for today is CRM at the bottom left right here, Salesforce. So that's about as red as it gets on that one. We're going to click on here. You can even see that the technicals box right here is red, and you're going to see why in just a second when we take a look at the chart. Check this guy out. It was nice. Oh, it was nice for months and moving up and up, and it got super, super hot. This could have easily been a what's hot stock like 2 months ago. No problem there. And then all of a sudden it just dropped off a cliff. So you come look at this and, show some resting, no big deal. Had the 50-day support there. You might be thinking, that's 50-day support here. And then earnings comes about. And man, this never ceases to amaze me. Look at this. Earnings got estimating 28 cents and they made $1.27. I mean, huge. That's great. Fantastic. How did the stock respond? Well, it tanked like a rock. I mean, it on this day, it opened up and came up almost to 300. And the next day, it closed all the way down near 250. Massive drop. And it has not really gotten any better. Pulled up to the 10-day, came back down, made a lower low, pulled up a little bit above the 10-day, about 20-day, came back down, gapped down yesterday, and moved down. So when the whole market took a big plunge yesterday, CRM took a bigger plunge, almost like you can't outdo me, market. I'm going to make a bigger plunge, and it just dropped. And then a little bit of an update today, but that's probably, I mean, in the same way when a stock has to rest sometimes as it's moving up, sometimes when it's been moving down a ton, it kind of has to rest from that as well. This could easily just be a little rest, and it could. I'm not saying it's going to, but it could move down more. And how far? Well, I don't know. I mean, we've got some support area down in here at the 210, 200 level. So I would not be surprised if we find ourselves in that area in just a few days or a few weeks or something like that. So that is CRM. That is our what's not hot stock for the day. And go back and look at the market again here just to recap and finish it out. Again, this was yesterday. That wasn't a great day, but it sure didn't look quite as bad as CRM did, where you had a big red candlestick, but also a gap down. So what is the market going to do from here? We're right around that 4,700 level. It put in a little doji. It's just below that previous resistance line. Is it going to keep moving down now, or is it going to actually push up and just turn this into a higher low as we start an uptrend? We don't know. It's a little bit indecisive. Whenever you end the day on a doji like that, there's just a lot of indecision. So we want to wait and make the market tip its hand and show us what it decides to do. So, just kind of like a thrilling TV show, just gonna have to wait until tomorrow or maybe even the next day to see what happens. So that's it for Stock Talk Thursday today. We will see you guys again next week on the 13th for Stock Talk Thursday, and we'll be looking at some more good stuff. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.